Okay.
I'm nervous.
Okay. Hi. So.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Wait, are we
How's
doing our
life?
intro or?
We can do the intro.
I mean, maybe we could start next episode.
Yeah. Because this is a little update episode.
Yeah, this is a little update. Like, sorry, we ghosted you guys for a bit.
We ghosted each other too. Let's be real.
Let's be fucking for real.
Yeah, my sister and I have been through it.
Yeah.
In the past 6 months, I'd say. No.
Yes.
Maybe a little bit. I don't know.
I would say almost the last year it's been pretty tough.
Yeah. So.
And I would say the last what was it, like 3 months ago?
Yeah.
That first month, I would say.
Was bad.
It was bad. And then the last 2 months, it's been like so much better.
Yeah. We've been
so basically
working on
to
things.
fill you guys in. Because like we feel bad. We disappeared. And there was no warning, nothing. We actually did record the 2 first episodes for this season, but that was what, like 3 months ago?
Yeah, right before we got into like our huge blowout.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a huge blowout, but like we'll get into it.
It was a pretty big.
Yeah.
I think it was like probably one of our biggest.
It was the most like legit ones, if that
Yeah,
makes
because
sense.
it wasn't really about like, I mean, okay, like granted we were siblings, but it was more like, anyways, it was actually like a serious thing that we were both like, oh my God, like what the fuck are we gonna do?
Yeah.
So essentially, our podcast is, I mean, we love doing our podcast and like we're back and we're gonna gonna be consistent. Like we don't want to keep falling off the face of the earth and then reappearing and then disappearing again. So like we really want to stick to it, but we decided that for us to be able to continue the podcast, we have to prioritize our relationship first. And then also when it comes to the clothing line, I mean, there were so many different factors that went into it.
Yeah.
But we were like, okay, we need to take a step back. Like, first of all, tariffs are horrible right now.
Yeah. Do you want to get into like what happened before we get into the clothing line? I figured that's something that we could like lead into.
Yeah.
Unless you just want to talk about it right now.
When you say like what happened before,
well, like the lead up, because I think like the biggest thing was the fact that like I had a baby. I think that really like, I mean, it's a blessing and it's beautiful, but I think it really screwed the like business aspect of everything, because I wasn't planning on, I mean, I was planning on getting pregnant. I wanted to get pregnant, but I just didn't think it was going to happen.
Yeah.
So all of my energy went into like the podcast, and we were like trying to build this clothing line, and we were doing it for so long. There was a lot of stuff behind the scenes that like you guys don't see. And just with owning a business in general, it's a lot of work. And then I had this baby, and my focus shifted like entirely to this newborn baby, which is normal for a mother, but it's also not fair to my sister, who I just kind of like left in the dark, because I was dealing with a lot mentally with being a mom and like having a baby and postpartum depression. And like, it's not an excuse, but like I was dealing with stuff, and Kyla was really not pushing me. Like she was really like she was giving me my space, which was so nice. But also she was like, what's going on? Because like this was also her job. And she's like, what are we doing with the podcast? Like, and I was like, I just think I need to like figure my shit out in the fall, and then we'll come back in the winter. She was like, okay. So she gave me that space. And in the winter, when we did decide to like start back, I don't remember if it was like January or February, but
I think it was actually December. Remember, we like came up with this like whole plan, and we were like meeting once a week. Then we went away. Like I went to Florida. Yeah,
we were like, okay, the new year is gonna start. It's like New Year. We're gonna start like a whole thing. And during all this time, we were still trying to figure out what to do with the new launch of our clothing line, which is Tomo the label. We did discuss this actually, and when we recorded episode 1 a few months ago, we discussed the whole thing with Tomo, but then we had a blowout. So I feel like we could talk a little bit about what we had discussed in that episode.
I don't even remember what we discussed in that episode.
To be honest, we we don't know what we're doing. Okay. That's the reality of things.
It's like we're really, really learning as we go. Like, and it's expensive. It's scary. It's something that we both love. But at the same time, it's all like we're siblings too. And like there's a reason people say don't go into business with like a best friend or a sibling. Like that is a real thing.
It is.
And but it's because when there's money involved, it does get very tricky. And then throw our sibling title, our sister title on there, our like old ways of like our old dynamic just as siblings.
I'm also going to be the first to say it, guys. Like I was not in a good place mentally at all. It was really hard to talk to me. I was not an easy person to be around. Like I was really struggling. So obviously I don't want to put all the blame on me, but a lot of it was like, it was just hard to have a conversation because I was just like not in a good headspace. And because I didn't care, which is so awful, I like only cared about my baby, which wasn't fair to my sister or to you guys, because I just was like, I don't give a fuck about anything. And that's so awful to say, and so awful to even like, I can't even believe I'm saying this online, because my job meant everything to me before I had kids.
Yeah.
And I know it comes in waves, and I know this time will pass. Like this is what was going on in my head. But I was like, I just don't care. But on like the reality version of it, we had invested a ton of money. Everything we did with Tomo is self-funded. Like we don't have an investor. We don't have people that are, you know, giving us loans. We did it all ourselves. And we were with an agency prior, like with our first launch. And we didn't connect very well with this agency. Like it just, our relationship, we didn't love it. And so we knew moving forward, we wanted to do a lot on our own, which obviously takes a lot more work, a lot more dedication, a lot more research on our end, because we're from people that we were paying a percentage to do like customer service, to do our website design, to find the fabrics.
To be honest, we weren't like too happy with how everything turned out as well. I mean, like we were also like, let's be real, we have to take accountability too. Yeah. I was like freelancing and like so busy at that time. You were pregnant, you just gave birth, like you were going on mat leave. Like we literally like didn't hold up our end of the stick. But even with our experience, we were like, I did not like the website.
Yeah, we weren't happy with a lot of stuff.
I felt like, you know, like we were kind of like, we felt pressured to launch literal winter clothing in the spring.
Yeah, we didn't want to launch when we did, but we kind of had to because we were on a timeline with this, you know, allegedly this like company. So safe to say, we decided moving forward, we're going to leave this and do it all on our own. And that's what we were doing. We were doing a lot of research into, okay, where are we going to source the fabrics from? What factory are we going to work with? Are we going to be working out of New York? Are we going to be working out of Canada? Are we going to get stuff from China? Like we're looking into everything to make most sense, because we are such a small business. We don't have a budget to like.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we don't know exactly what we're doing, which is fine because
most people don't when they start a business.
No, most people don't, and there's always resources. Like you teach yourself, like,
and we're good in business.
Exactly,
that's the one thing, is we're good in business.
We're good in business, and we're also very creative.
Yeah. So we knew we had our whole business model. We had the designs. We had everything going. Like we literally we knew what we wanted moving forward with like most seasons. The issue was money. Money was the main issue. Because obviously we want to sell things to make money so that we can reinvest that money that we make back into the line to make more clothes. So we don't have to just keep taking out a loan every time we want to make a line. Like that's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
But in order to make money, if we're going to go the sustainable route right away, we're going to have to charge our clothing is going to be way more expensive in order to have any kind of ROI. So we're just kind of like weighing the things.
Which I don't think we need to go fully sustainable.
No, but that's the thing. Not right off the bat.
Yeah.
That was like our 5-10 year goal down the line, because this is something we wanted to do long term. The issue came into effect with the tariffs. Obviously, tariffs, do your research, okay? Like it really affected a lot of companies. And so that was kind of a hurdle we were trying to see
also,
what we're going to do.
Also, just like in general, like even before tariffs, like you obviously, it takes money to make money.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to, like we wanted our items to be good quality, and we wanted our packaging to be sustainable. And anyways, we have, you know, like our standards and our vision and like what we wanted moving forward. But I think that it was definitely like money that was getting in the way, but then also just it was like lack of communication and just like totally being on like different pages, but like feeling like, you know, like you had stuff that you were going through, and then for me I was just kind of like, okay, so like I'm just kind of like left in the dark, like I invested all this money and I'm just expected to like, you know, stall, and like it's like getting to a point where I was like, oh my god, like I can't take it anymore. And so by the time we like had our big blowout, it was just like I was like, I can't, like I was the one that was like, I can't do this moving forward. And so my sister was like, okay, maybe we can like take a step back and like just, you know, see how it is, like, you know, like you were trying to like compromise and like kind of like calm me down, and I was like fully like, no, I'm not, like I can't do this, like, and I need space, like don't even you know. And anyways, so we took a little bit of a hiatus from each other. We didn't talk for a little bit, but then you reached out to me and you were just like, I still love you, like I just want you to know that, because I'm the type of person, I don't know if you guys know anything about attachment styles, I'm a dismissive avoidant, which is like one of the most difficult, stubborn attachment styles there is. Like I don't like I don't know how to describe a dismissive avoidant. If you know what that is, then you know. If you don't, then look it up. I don't want to like take forever to explain this, but anyways, so I really wanted my space. Like I was just like, need my space, I don't want to talk, I don't even want to think about it, I need to just escape. And like it was like too much, like I felt like I couldn't even breathe. And so you reached out to me, and then I was like, okay, like I'll just
I wanted you to know that this is the thing with us, because we go through this cycle, okay? Where
also, wait, side note, I just want to say,
what?
I feel like every argument we've ever gotten into, you're always the one to break the silence first and be like, can we stop fighting? Like, I'm really sorry. And I'm like, okay, yeah.
But it's because I'm not, whatever you said,
you're not dismissive
avoidant.
I think you're more anxious.
I mean, yeah, I definitely have anxiety.
Your anxious attachment?
Oh, I don't know what that means. I don't know attachment styles, but for me, I know like I'm confrontational, and my issue is that sometimes I'm too blunt and I don't speak. Like I could definitely have been a lot more professional in that conversation, because at the end of the day, we were talking about business. And instead of being very professional with it, we were speaking to each other like siblings. And because we're so used to being able to just speak to each other like siblings, it got heated quickly. And then I was like, I don't want my sister to feel like I don't love her or that I don't care about her, because I do. And this was like, it was business, but it was also personal, because it's something that we both so want. So that's why I reached out. I was like, I just want to let you know, like, I love you, no pressure to respond, but like whatever. And then that was nice because we were able to kind of go from there. But essentially a big reason what we were like disagreeing on was like, if we were going to move forward with a summer launch, if we were going to move forward with a fall launch, if we were going to invest the amount of money we wanted to invest into a quick launch to get things out right away, because there is shame in it. The fact that we did one launch and then didn't for another year. Like that wasn't our plan. Things take time. Things take around 7 to 8 months when it comes to like a launch from the get-go. So when we came out with this launch, the first one that we did, we started that before I even was pregnant. So like I wasn't planning on having a baby, going on mat leave. We had planned on, when we launched this thing, which originally was supposed to be in the fall, it was supposed to be a fall launch, we were going to use the money that we made from that launch to reinvest into a spring launch. Like that was like the goal. But things got pushed. I got pregnant. It was like, I don't want to blame my pregnancy per se, but it just wasn't a plan. Like it wasn't in the plan. So it really did kind of screw everything, especially because it had taken me so long to get pregnant. Like my mind was really not on like anything other than the pregnancy, which is my bad. Like that is full on my bad, because this is a business.
Yeah.
And like I couldn't do that if I worked a job.
At one point, like, or like thinking at one point, I was like, the fact that there's so much money going into this on both our ends.
Yeah.
And like the way that it was handled, I was like, oh my God, like, does my sister not even like love me? Like, I was like, I was genuinely so confused. I was like, it goes beyond like just like a business disagreement or like a business fallout. I was like, oh my God, like, I don't think my sister like even cares about me. Like, I genuinely, like, I know that's not true.
Okay, yeah.
But in the moment, I was like, just the way everything like unfolded, I was like, she literally doesn't care. Like, yeah, that's why I was like, no, like, I'm like done. Like, I can't do this. I was like hyperventilating.
Oh my God, I feel so bad. But like at the same time too, it was like the main thing was that you wanted to move forward with investing more money, and I didn't.
Yeah.
At that. And I'm glad we didn't.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to stand by that because I think it would have been a bad thing.
No, exactly.
You just weren't able to communicate.
I stand by it too. I think that we were just like, there was like a lack of communication and transparency there. Yeah. And so it was like, it wasn't that we were on completely opposite pages with like that necessarily. It was just more like, I felt like from my end, I was just being like, almost like strung along.
Yeah.
And then like last minute would like hear like an update, and I was like, oh my God, like I was like getting to a point where I was like, I can't keep doing this, like this is like,
or like you would reach out and like make some progress because I was dealing with the baby, and then you'd be like, oh, this is what I've been doing, and I'm like, oh, I don't like that actually, and then you're like, well, you're not even involved.
Yeah.
So like we would be like arguing like that of like who does more work and who doesn't. Like it wasn't good. Okay, if this was like a real job, it would be a really toxic, like not a good environment. So we were like, you know what, let's take space. And then I said, because then you were like, oh, I don't want to do the podcast either. You like pulled on both. And I was like, fuck. Because like, I know that we both love this so much.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So right away I responded, I'm like, okay, well then you have to help me write something out so I can post on our social media that we're not doing this.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. And you like wrote something so quick. And I was like, okay, well I think
it was very general.
I was like, I think we should give a bit more detail, a bit more context, because it's kind of like all of a sudden we're just gone. And you're like, no, that's what I want to say. And I was like, fuck. So I'm like, you know what?
Dismissive avoidant.
I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. I know that's awful because literally I had been posting on my social media like, tell me sis season 3 coming back.
I really think that it's a good thing you didn't say anything, because I remember the last few weeks, like, sorry to like kind of sidetrack, but like before I asked you if you wanted to start up the podcast again, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
I remember thinking like, I really fucking hope to God that you didn't announce anything.
Yeah, I didn't. And
that's why I was like, another reason why I was sitting on it for a bit, because I was like, fuck my life. Like, that was a whole other argument we got into, like a disagreement. Well, that wasn't really an argument. It was just a little bit of like a,
well, you're like, I don't want to do it anymore. I knew in my gut, I said, you know, this is something that my sister and I like, we had big fights like throughout our life, but this was like a business involved one. So this is like the first one, I'm sure, of many. We just are going to learn how to handle things better and like be better at communicating and like moving forward, whatever. I knew in my gut, I said, things are going to blow over. And then if I say something right now and we go back on that, it looks worse than if I just don't and we just let it settle and then come back and be like, you know what? Let's do it. So I just didn't mention anything. I actually had posted a video. I had filmed a whole like vlog where I was getting ready, and I was like, oh, my sister, because I had said in the vlog previously you were coming over to record the podcast. And then the next vlog I was like, yeah, so we decided not to continue. And I went into a little detail and I was like, I think I sent you a voice note of what I said.
Yes.
And you were like, no, I don't like that. And I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to delete that from my vlog.
Yeah.
And just pretend like nothing happened, which is so bad because people have been messaging me like, I thought you were coming back with season 3,
which that is also like the way I saw it too, which is like, this is like more on me. I was just like, not even like thinking about, in my mind I was just like, if she's gonna post something that's like her being impulsive, like we don't need to talk about this publicly, this is like our privacy and whatever. But like I was also like completely like brushing over the fact that we have a full-blown audience. Like you guys love our podcast and like you look forward to it, and it's just, we were really like just not thinking logically. We were not thinking logically.
But also, Kyla, like,
well, we were
prior to the clothing line, we never had really any issues with the podcast because we did the podcast for 2 years.
I know.
So like
it was the clothing line that really, because it's, you know what it comes down to? It comes down to money. Yeah. We were both investing a lot. It
was a lot of money, guys.
It was a lot of money. Like and lot of money. It's, you know, things aren't cheap. You guys know, like, it's not like everything is like so expensive nowadays. And like, I mean, we're pretty much like in a recession.
Yeah.
And like the amount of money that you make yearly versus like how much it costs to just live, it like doesn't even make sense.
And clothing is probably the most expensive.
Exactly.
Like we could have done jewelry, we could have done beauty products, we could have done hair care, all of those things. It costs so much less money. And then you actually make a lot of money doing those things. So to make a ton of money, it would have been smarter to do that. It's just not it wasn't our passion. I'm not saying we can't ever do those things and branch out or whatever, but it's like we just always loved. Sorry, I'm talking a lot.
No. Sorry, I'm like cutting you off, my ADD. But I don't know, like you're mentioning like accessories and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know, like is that not our passion? Like I feel like we'd make such cute.
No, we would, but I'm saying like when we started, that's why we didn't come out with a jewelry line, is because we wanted to come out with a clothing line.
Yeah, and
that was the whole thing, was that we were really wanting to do this together. We really wanted to be in business together. And guys, like having a small business is hit or miss. There's people I know that come out with small businesses that tank, and then there's others that go viral and they like it changes their life. And you know, it's just, you kind of have to ride the wave. And I think we made a huge mistake in like a lot of areas with the first launch, and they're learning lessons.
And by the way, like just so you guys aren't like too confused, the clothing line is on hold for we don't know how long. We're going to be prioritizing the podcast.
Yeah.
That is going to be something that we're still going to be uploading weekly.
Yep.
The podcast is our number one. And, you know, depending how things go, like we're not completely shut off to the clothing line.
Yeah.
But we also know like it sucks because it's like we're so passionate about making clothing, but at the same time, like our personalities, first of all, are so different.
Yeah.
Our, you know, like the way that we handle conflict and communicating is so fucking different.
Yeah.
I think that we both have really big egos.
Yeah.
And we like, there's so much that we would need to like work on. And then that kind of freaks me out a bit, because then it's like, if we would have to work on all these things so much,
I actually don't think it's as, I think a big reason as to why it was so hard, Kyla, is because I was so postpartum and I was in such a bad place, and I'm not having any more kids. And I'm not saying that's the reason. Obviously we have issues communicating just in general.
Yeah.
But like I was having issues communicating with everyone in my life. Like I was not in a good place, and I needed medication, like 100%. I needed to be medicated.
Yeah.
Like I
remember we got into, I remember you telling me that you wanted to go on medication. Yeah. And like, I think it was like when we were on FaceTime or something. And like, it was like one of those like last like conversations. We were both like going at each other's throats. And I like hang up the phone and I was like, just take the fucking meds. Like I was so
my doctor wouldn't give them to me. But yeah, I think moving forward, I'm in a much better place mentally.
Yeah.
Like obviously life comes and goes. I think we also are much more aware of how we work now.
Yeah.
And how we are going to be communicating.
I also am like our dynamic as sisters, like our whole life has always been like, I'm very, it depends who I'm dealing with, but like when it comes to you, I'm a lot more submissive in a lot of areas. Sometimes I'm like, I very much speak my mind, and I'm like, no, like I can be very stubborn.
Yeah.
But like I would say with you, I'm a lot more submissive, just because like our dynamic growing up, like you were the older sibling, like you definitely have like a very dominant personality. So do I, but like
maybe not with me.
Not with you, because it was just like always easier for me to just be like, okay, whatever, like just let you get your way kind of thing, because I'm not as confrontational, and I always felt like, okay, if I push too much, like I need to just like choose my battles. But then when it came to the clothing line, I was, first of all, like I'm also like a lot older now and more mature. I you know, like I have experience like on the business side of things, like working all these full-time jobs, doing freelance and stuff. So it's like, and then I was also like taking medication for my ADD as well, which does actually make you more rigid, I recently found out. And I'm very like, when it came to the clothing line, I was very what's the word, like very assertive, and like, this is how we do it, like very technical, like 10 steps ahead. And I think that like subconsciously, the way that I was like going about it and communicating with you probably made you feel like, it probably brought out like a perfectionistic side of you, where you kind of felt like you were being like hard on yourself.
Probably, but I also was in a really big brain fog. Like, I think back to a lot of my like postpartum and I'm like, what was I even doing? Like, I don't even remember. I was literally walking in circles. I couldn't even answer emails. Like, I was like, I'm on ADD medication now, and we're trying to find like the proper dose and the proper one. And like, honestly, it's just going to be, I feel like an uphill from here. I didn't even realize I had ADD. Like, I didn't realize. I remember you were telling me, you're like, it's so common. And I was like, yeah, I feel like I have the opposite issue. No. I went over it with a doctor and he was like, ew. So I just feel like my focus is going to be like so much better. I mean,
it does help with it. It's a stimulant. So like, it helps a little bit with your mood as well.
We'll see, right? Like, I've heard like some people like it, some people don't, but maybe if I just take it to focus on the days that I really need to get a lot of work done, that's something I can do. But I just think for like day-to-day life, I just was not in a good place. And I remember there was someone who reached out to me on DMs. You know who you are if you're listening to this, because she loves our podcast. And she was like, I really, really miss you guys. Like, are you coming back? And I was like, I'm going to be full transparent right now. And this is before you even reached out to me.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I went through a really, really hard time in the fall and like winter. And my sister was super patient with me. And we got into a little bit, and like, she's kind of going through it now, and I'm giving her space. Yeah. So we'll see. I would love to, but I don't want to push it. And that's why I haven't spoken publicly about it, because I'm hoping that she comes around. Yeah. And so
I love how you knew me better than I knew myself in that moment.
Because this happens just in general too. Like, sometimes when you're arguing with someone, you like will say things that you don't even mean just because you're arguing. And then when time, like, I'm thinking even about like arguments I have with Dan. You know, like, we'll argue about something and then it's like time will pass.
I keep feeling like my phone is like slipping down.
Oh, that's okay.
But yeah, continue.
And so I was like, you know, when the dust settles, I'm like, I don't know if she'll ever want to do anything, but like, I hoped you would. And I knew that by saying online, we're done, obviously we could have come back. It's not like when I say it, it means 100%, but it would have been worse.
Yeah, no, for sure. What was it, like maybe 2 months that we went like without like really talking about the clothing line, the podcast. Like, we started like, you know, talking more, texting more, than like seeing each other in person. Like, our relationship was better, even though we hadn't necessarily like fully communicated about like everything. It was just kind of like we knew that we were like civil. Yeah. And then I was like sitting on it for a few weeks. I was like, I really want to start up the podcast again. Like, it's different because we're not investing a ton of money. Yeah. Like, we really genuinely loved the podcast. Yeah. There were so many times where I would be listening to a podcast, or I'd be thinking about something, having a convo with someone, and I'd be like, oh, that would be such a fun podcast episode.
Yeah, I know, me too.
And like, I send voice notes back and forth between me and my friends, and I'm just like, I don't know, I want to have these friends on the podcast. Yeah. Like, there was so much that was like, it was like popping in my mind more and more. And so I was like really thinking about it. And I sat on it for a few weeks. And I remember at one point, like, I texted my sister and I was like, question for you. But then you only answered me the next morning.
I think you texted me at night.
Yeah. You only answered me the next morning. So by the time you got back to me the next morning, I like chickened out again. And you're like, yeah, what's up? And so I was just like, what's your Disney Plus account? Like, I want to watch a show, which was actually true. But like, I didn't want to bring up like, oh, do you want to like do the podcast again? Because I was like, I don't know, like, what if I'm just being impulsive? Like, what if this is just like, now that the dust has settled and like we're civil, I'm just like, you know, like impulsively like, oh, let's do this again, because like now I'm back to feeling better. So I was like, I don't want to do that and then like
regret
it. And so anyways, I continued sitting on it, and I like spoke to Jess, and I was like, I really want to start the podcast again. And she was like, I mean, honestly, Kyla, like you're not like, there's no money going into it.
Yeah.
I feel like you genuinely liked filming with your sister. She's like, I didn't see your sister post anything about like what you guys were up to. And I was like, yeah, I know. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like maybe I'll do it. And she's like, honestly, like I would say just talk to her about it. Like, you know, like there's nothing to lose there. And so then I texted you and I was like,
no, you're like, I have a question for you. And I was like, well, you can call me. I'm on the way to the doctors. And then we started talking about
no, you're on your way back from the doctors.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about ADD meds and we were literally on a whole tangent. I'm like, oh, yeah, wait, you called me to ask me a question. Sorry. Yeah. And you're like, actually, now that I know you're going to be medicated.
I was like, this literally could not have worked out even better. Like, because my sister's like, no, because I was like, why are you like driving home from downtown? And she's like, oh, I'm like, you know, my doctor is going to be putting me on ADD medication. And like, you know, I just feel like it's going to really help with a lot of things. And anyway, so we caught on that topic and like, I have ADD, like I take medication for it. And I was like, oh yeah. So I was like telling my sister, like, you know, like the meds that I'm on and like my experience and like just, you know, like the pros, the cons, whatever. And we're talking about it for like 45 minutes or something. And then finally you're like, oh wait, like you called me because you had a question, like, sorry. And I was like, well, actually, like the fact that I know you're going to be medicated, this is perfect.
Yeah.
And I was like, would you be interested, and feel free to say no, in starting the podcast again? And like before I was even done the sentence, you were like, yes.
I was literally waiting. I was like hoping that she would ask me because I know you, Kyla, and I know if I push, it's going to make it worse.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
I need to be the one to come to that decision on my own.
Exactly. Even like I had spoken to Dan and I'm like, should I reach out? Should I try to talk about things? Whatever. And he was like, honestly, I think it's best. Just give her space. Whatever. She'll come to you when she's ready. Because like you said, you're more avoidant.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not. I'm more like, let's talk about this. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But because it was on your terms, then I was instantly like, you know, I just want to say I'm so sorry for the way that like everything happened, whatever. And then we were able to like actually have a proper conversation.
Yeah.
And I just think that, I don't know, I want you guys like if you're watching, we are going to be posting all of our episodes on YouTube, by the way. Or if you're listening, I want you guys to know that like my sister and I don't take this lightly. Okay. You mean a lot to us, and we are not just gonna be like, oh yeah, we feel like it doing it now, and then like gonna fuck off again. You know, it's like when we started this, we were consistent for 2 years and we loved it, and we had always planned to come back for season 3.
Yeah.
And then crap hit the fan, but guess what? I'm having no more babies. There's no more babies happening. So I think my hormones are only gonna get better and better as time goes on. And yeah, shit happens in life.
But it's also not just about hormones. It's about being able to, like, when you do inevitably go through another moment, because that's just life. Yeah. Like, even for me, like, everyone goes through ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's about, like, recognizing it and, like, you, like, getting tools to, like, not let it be externalized, you know?
Exactly.
Like, open communication. Like, of course, like, you know, like, sometimes any relationship takes compromise. Like, you need to communicate, compromise. Like, it's not to say, like, you need to be perfect all the time, but it's... like, there's going to be other moments in your life where you're going to feel,
100%.
You know? And, like, even for me. So it's really about, like, when we get in those headspaces, like,
I just have to just
better
put in my
self-control.
head that, like, the podcast is fun. Obviously, we love doing it. If we were to continue doing, like, a business together, let's say, then that is something that I think for myself, like, internally, I need to take it as like, this is a real job, and I'm gonna have to pretend like my sister is not my sister.
And it would have to be like just as much of a priority as like influencing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, that's the thing. Or if you're not able to, then it's like, okay, I'm not able to, so then Kyla is gonna pick up whatever I'm not doing, and like I need to just like let her take the wheel, you know?
Well, that's the thing too, is that I have like a few friends who are business owners, and they're saying like there was one time during COVID where their business like really almost went under. It was really bad. And typically it was one of my friends who was like the main person, and the other one just helped out. And during that time, she was so in a bad place mentally that she like could not focus on the job or anything because she was struggling so hard because of COVID.
Yeah.
That her partner picked up the slack and like proved to her, like, he was so good at doing it that she was like, oh my God, like, she felt like pressure was taken off of her because she's like, oh my God, I can rely on this person. And like, they really carried the company through, and it's better than ever.
Yeah, I feel like that was like because you're more of like a controlling person by nature. You like to be the one calling the shots.
So I work for myself.
Exactly. And so I think that, and because that's what I was trying to say before, like my dynamic with you, like in the past, was always like you were the one like always calling the shots, and like I was like, you know, more submissive, and I would just kind of like whatever, laissez faire, like just I just like didn't want to get into it. Like I thought like it was too much of a headache to like, you know, which is like not good. So then by the time like the clothing line came around, I was like being a lot more assertive, and I don't think you were used to that. And I think that for you, it was like also like kind of difficult because it like you're just not used to like letting me kind of like take the lead.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, okay, first of all, that's like so fucking insulting.
But it's not to you personally.
No, I know. It's just in the moment I take it personally because I'm a perfectionist too, and like I like that's like something I struggle with. Like if like literally if I'm not, anyways, being a perfectionist is like so hard. But what like in my mind I was like, we have such good fucking ideas. I know. I was like, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm fucking doing. Yeah. And I like really like believed in myself for like, and I'm like really hard on myself normally because I'm a perfectionist. But like with this, I was like, no, look, I know what the fuck I'm doing.
But that's the thing, Kyla, is I never doubted you and your ability to do things. What I doubted was money.
Oh my God.
That was the biggest thing. Like really our biggest conflict was money. Yeah. And that's why they say like involving your sibling, a partner, a friend in a business, when it comes to money, it's risky. Yeah. Because when money is involved, shit hits the fan. Yeah. And that's what my biggest thing was, is I wanted to be smart financially, but like we just like couldn't do it properly at this point. And we were like so in a rush to like come out with something because of pride.
And we like found that like really amazing woman in New York.
I know.
I'm keeping her in mind.
Yes, but again with tariffs and everything, it's like,
I know, but like I'm saying for like future stuff.
Yeah. And I think, listen, we clearly did not communicate properly. Kyla, I just need to let you know, which I know I've told you this before, but like you fucking kill it. You did such a good job. Like I'm very impressed, and even all your emails, like everything was like so good. Thank you. And like I remember even telling you too, I was like, wow, I love what you've been posting on social media, like for the Tell Me Sis and like for Tomo, like I love everything, you know. It's like in that aspect, like I totally am okay like with you doing all that. It was for me a money thing. Yeah. And that's why I'm like,
and I think you were kind of like scared to tell me that fully.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's possible. Honestly, Kyla, I don't even know what the fuck I was thinking the past few months. I mean, no, not these past few months, but like
maybe you just like weren't thinking at all.
Honestly, I don't think I was.
That's why.
I think my brain was gone.
That's probably why I was so frustrated, because my brain, like, what is happening?
Was gone. Dan was like, you're a different person. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I literally can't think. All I want to do is be with Rue. Literally, that's all I cared about. And then even when I was with her, I was like a zombie.
Ugh, she's just so fucking cute though.
She is cute, but I was like literally not. I'm like, wow, if I had a real like 9-to-5 job, I'd get fired. Actually, no, that's not true, because I'd be on mat leave for a year. But still, like I was like,
you just wouldn't be able to, like, you can't afford to like there's, you have to suck it up, like, and there's like like think about like that, like what you experience, but like with a woman who can't even afford to go on mat leave,
or a single mom.
That's what I'm saying. That's
what I'm saying is that like I'm very privileged and I'm very lucky to be in the situation that I was. And I think that like if it wasn't for the career path that I have and like the fact that I'm so lucky enough to like call this my job, I don't think like it just would have been really awful, which it was awful. But I think moving forward, us just working on a relationship, like in general too, just in everyday life. Yeah. And we've been saying this from the start of the podcast, but like the podcast was never really an issue. The only time the first disagreement we had was on the edits of the photos of our Tomo shoot. That was the first real disagreement we had.
Oh my God, it's true.
It always had to do with the fucking clothing line.
Yeah, it really was.
Like the podcast.
But why? Because at that point, it wasn't a money thing.
Because you didn't like the edits.
I fucking hated the edits.
And I was like, okay, well, we can't like do our own edits on like a
no shade to
photographer.
the person who edited it. We didn't communicate what we wanted.
Yeah, and like for me, I'm honestly now trying in my life to not be a people pleaser.
Yeah.
But I kind of always have been. And I didn't like in certain situations. But I didn't like when people didn't like me or thought I was difficult to work with or whatever, was rude. And instead of being like, hey, I actually don't love these edits. Can we try something a bit more natural? I just like took it.
I know. I was shocked.
And you were like, just no, ask for something different.
I hated it.
Yeah. I don't know what we ended up doing.
I think we did the edits on our own, but then when we sent everything to the agency that we were with and they put the original edits on the website, and I was like, at least on our homepage, and I was just like, there was so much that was happening that I was like, I don't like it. This isn't my vision. This is not the brand that I wanted. And it like there was just so much that I was like biting my tongue over, which is something too that like I needed to like learn, because I'm like, why am I biting my tongue? Like, this is also my business. Yeah,
and that you're investing money into. But even like with the company that we were with that was working on the website design, like they're a great company. It's just that we didn't align, and like we were very much pushed and pressured into doing things that like we didn't want because they had a timeline. And like we had to follow the timeline. And then we sold.
Also, I will say, with our samples for that fucking knit sweater.
Shut the fuck up. Those sandals. Those samples were.
And we were being. Okay.
Should we post those photos of the thing we sent in as inspo versus what they sent us? Or is that bad?
No, let's do it. But we're not going to give the name away of the company.
We were just like, how did you get this from this? And that's so normal, by the way. That's so normal with samples. You get stuff sometimes that you're like, what? And there's like a few rounds of samples you have to do, but that also costs money.
Yes, it costs money. But then also, like, could we talk about, before we decided to put the clothing line on hold, when I was reaching out to manufacturing agencies and I found this one.
Shut the fuck up.
We came out, like, we were going to do like this really fucking cute dress.
Oh my God.
With like paired with like this top that you could wear separately or together. Anyways, it was so like that summer launch would have been so
It was supposed to be for this summer. It would have been so cute.
We send them our tech pack. The top and dress they sent back, I was like, Shein wouldn't even sell this.
No, it was so bad, guys. It was so bad. And
I was like dying.
I was like, where'd you find this company?
It was so bad to the point where we were laughing.
I know.
I remember you texted me. You were like, ha, 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 ha. What the fuck? What did they send us? And I hadn't seen the email. I was like, what are you talking about? You're like, go check your emails, Kyla. And I was like, it's so bad to the point where we just had to laugh.
I know. And we're like, okay, now what do we do?
We should include pictures. I have them still.
Oh my God. It's really bad. We will definitely include photos if you want. And then I think what we can be doing now on Instagram, if you want to follow us on Instagram, because we will be posting clips from the podcast on TikTok and Instagram. But I think we'll also do like a little like a weekly dump of like just the things we talked about on the podcast that we can include into that photo dump. Yeah. So like definitely include those photos.
Yeah. Man. Oh my God. It was so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Moving forward with this podcast, we actually kind of did like a whole restructure. First of all, as you can see, we have a different background. This is my new house. This is all going to be changed soon. We are going to be eventually doing things. We want to have like a proper background, whatever. But I also am in a place in my life where, like I said, I'm not a people pleaser, but I also am not going to be filtering myself as much online.
Yeah.
And I spoke about this in one of my upcoming like vlogs on my personal channel, is that I feel like for so long I was so scared of speaking my mind because of what people were going to think or how they were going to perceive me.
Yeah, you were always trying to be like politically correct and like
not even that, just like I was scared to have a difference of opinion on like certain things. And I'm like, what? Everyone has a difference of opinion. Even in my circle of friends, we'll disagree on things, and that's normal. But I think watching back my old videos and seeing how I would talk, I was just so open and like would just speak my mind. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that online. But at the same time, I'm like, that's just how I was with my friends. And what stopped that was over the years getting a lot of like hate comments or like people being like, oh my God, I can't believe you think that, or I can't believe you said that, or I can't believe you talk about that, whatever. It really like made me feel uncomfortable with sharing.
Yeah.
And people say like privacy is the best way to move forward because then people can't judge you on something they don't know.
Yeah.
Which, that makes sense. But also, like, when it comes to just me and my thoughts and like how I speak, what I think, why am I filtering that? If there's certain aspects of my life I don't want shared, I'm not going to share it.
Yeah.
The only person that it's affecting is me.
Sorry, look at Boo is just like back towards us, sitting, staring at the wall. Sorry. Continue. Yeah, the only person it is really affecting is you. And like, I also will be honest, like, I'll say right now, like, people on the internet, like, whoever like is leaving hate, like, I personally truly don't understand it. Like, unless like the person who's getting hate like is doing something like criminally wrong,
well, yeah,
then of course. But if it's just like a preference or like a personal subjective opinion,
yeah,
like I'm not saying agree with what everyone is saying or what their views are on things, but like
to send hate,
go out of your way and send hate. Like, I have watched videos, I've seen people say things like that I like fully don't agree with.
Yeah.
And I just keep swiping. Like, I don't care.
For me, it's like even this whole thing with Hailey Bieber, like the amount of hate this poor woman gets, and people are like, I can't believe you're Team Hailey. Team Hailey? Why are we hating on women in the first place? Team Hailey, Team Selena, like, what the fuck? Oh, she stalked Justin Bieber for so long and she... Okay.
Did she even stalk him,
but
though?
Also,
like, is there actual legitimate proof?
But even if she did, let's say, even if she did that, who cares? It is not your life. Poor Justin. What the fuck?
You don't even know him.
You don't know him. Who cares?
It's just weird. I think the internet is very weird. I also love the internet.
Oh yeah, like, and I love gossip, so I'm gonna be all in that. But I'm not gonna be spreading hate because, like, there's just no point.
I think people also make mistakes, and that's okay.
Oh yeah, and
it's almost like there's no room to like even just make a very subjective mistake anymore without people like jumping down your throat and like villainizing you to the point where it's like, the way you're reacting to what this person did or said is 10 times more harmful than what that person was doing in the first place.
Should we talk about the thing with you or no?
Oh, yeah. The video I posted with my ex.
Because like that's something that we actually did talk about one time in an episode that I deleted because I was like, you know what? It's probably not better. It's probably best not to bring attention to it again. But honestly, this ties in perfectly with that.
Yeah. I posted a video
years ago
with my ex, and we were like filming a mukbang. This is when I still had my YouTube channel, and we were just like, I asked like everyone to like write in, and like I forget what the topic was. I think it was like body.
No, it was like preferences. No, it's like no, it was just a Q&A, and one of the questions was like, what are your preferences?
Yeah, and he answered and he said something along the lines of he prefers if a girl doesn't have stretch marks, doesn't have like saggy boobs or something.
Yeah. And like he wants like abs or whatever.
Or acne.
A man spoke about his own preference in Kyla's video, and like she uploaded it.
And he also did say in that video, I'm going to like make this very clear. He was not hating on anyone who didn't have or who had those things, because he even said like I forget what it was because like I deleted it, but like I remember rewatching it and being like, I genuinely don't believe what he said was bad. Like, he was still being respectful. It was just a preference. Like, he said something along the lines of like, okay, like whatever, if you have like some stretch marks, it's really not the end of the world. Like,
and but people were commenting like, oh, what's gonna happen when Kyla gets pregnant? What's gonna happen when her body changes? And sending her so much hate. I had friends of mine messaging me like, I can't believe Kyla uploaded that video, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, first of all, she didn't even say anything. Okay? And all the blame is being put on her that she uploaded it, and she should know better to upload it because it's body positivity. That is his preference for his body. If he wants to think that way, let him think that way.
How about you work on not letting a stranger get under your skin so much?
Yeah.
And work on your own fucking self-confidence. If you're going to be so insecure to the point where you're going to allow a fucking stranger on the internet to get under your skin that much, I understand, like, yes, it could be harmful, young people, whatever. Teach your fucking kid, teach yourself to not be so affected by a stranger. Like, how about that?
Yeah.
You're not going to control everyone in the world. And I'm not saying that I don't understand why people were upset.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I actually lost one of like my good friends because of that.
Yeah.
And we were kind of like not as close before it happened. And then when that video came out, like she just like fucking turned against me. And I was like, hey, you're obviously not a friend. And I had other friends of all my other friends were messaging me saying, Kyla, the video's not even bad. I was getting DMs from so many women on Instagram being like, hey girl, like I gave birth. My body changed. I have saggy boobs. I have stretch marks, or like I have acne scars, whatever. And they were like, we watched the whole video and we genuinely don't understand why people are getting so upset.
Yeah.
Just want to let you know that like what you posted was not harmful.
Also, I was in the thick of postpartum when that video went out. I was literally a body positivity influencer and I was not offended because I didn't give a shit. And also there was this one person that was messaging me that I knew like from previous years, like personally, that was like, you need to tell your sister, like getting so mad at me.
Oh yeah, that was a whole other thing. This
and
girl
I was like
fully getting her and her friends to like literally cyber bully me. And I'm like, okay, so basically I'm posting something that you consider very harmful, but you're fully cyber bullying me right now. Like what?
Yeah, that was insane. It was honestly the most.
I had to block her and all her friends on every single platform. She was even accusing me of like threatening her at one point. Because all I said was, oh, I know who you are. How was that a threat?
Honestly, sometimes, like, I remember that whole situation went down and I had people messaging me literally, like, it was, like, one or the other. Like, either, like, I can't believe your sister posted that, or, like, I don't know, I didn't really think it was, like, that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like, it was one or the other. And then people were like, you need to speak out on this. You need to speak out. I'm like, first of all, I'm not even involved. Why are you getting me involved in this situation? She's my sister, of course, but, like, what? It was like the weirdest thing ever. And thinking back on it now, I'm like,
I feel like people need to get a life. Like they feel they're miserable already, and then the second there's any opportunity to hate on someone or to like put someone else down, they fucking jump on that and they fully bypass their own actions and what they're doing and saying as like being extremely harmful as well. The fucking hate that I got, like what that did to my mental health. I
know.
And I'm not saying...
And it's not even like you said anything. Okay, yeah, you uploaded it. You didn't say anything.
What that did to me mentally, I was not doing well. And I remember thinking to myself, like, this is like literally 0.01% of what a celebrity would have to go through. Like, I couldn't even imagine. Like, people are so fucking brutal.
And that's the thing. Like, everyone has the right to say what they want, of course. But like... we are also allowed to think that if you're gonna like spread hate and cyberbully, then you're weird. Like I just think that. I think that people thinking that what she did could be harmful for women to hear, of course.
Yeah, like have your own opinion.
And like that is true. Like I personally think that like that man saying things like that, it could be harmful, especially if someone is vulnerable and they're insecure and it's like sad. Guess what? He's not your boyfriend.
Yeah.
At all. And unfortunately, a lot of men think like him. Unfortunately. It sucks. And I want to change that, but we can't.
Yeah.
The only thing we can do is work on promoting, like supporting women. Yeah. But like to tear another woman down for what a man said is so odd to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you aware of what your sister even posted? What is that? To me, that's like,
see, people that do that, like and this isn't me being like defensive. Genuinely, the way I see it is like, can you get a life? Like, it's weird.
When I'm in a really bad place mentally, I don't like leave hate, but I definitely like think really negatively and I get affected by things.
Yeah, but that's completely different because you're not outwardly.
Right, of course. But if someone is more vocal and they're hiding behind a computer screen and they think a certain way, like I could see why they would get to that place, but it's because they are unwell.
Yeah.
And there's certain things I think not that are justified being canceled or being hate, but like definitely people talking about situations and subjects. Like it's how you make change for sure. Like if someone is doing something that's awful online and you want to like talk about it and be like, I don't think this is right and like whatever, that's fine. But to like bully someone else for what, like, I don't know, to me that made no sense, and maybe a lot of people are gonna like totally disagree with us, and again, that's fine.
You know what, actually, there was a TikTok account more recently, I'd say like this was maybe a year ago, and this guy makes videos about like acne, having like really bad acne, and like he had posted a clip from that YouTube video. Even though I fucking took it down, I deleted it.
I know, you deleted it right away.
People screen recorded it, saved it, downloaded it, I don't know,
and re-uploaded it.
Still to this day, it's like circulating the internet, and I'm like, okay, so this is just proof that even when I take the video down,
like, you listened to everyone, you took it down,
you're still uploading it yourselves.
Yeah,
like, you're not trying to prove a point at this, like, you're not trying to like actually be a better person, you're just trying to knock someone else down.
Yeah,
because you reposting that video is you still sharing that harmful content that you hated in the first place. Meanwhile, I took it down.
Yeah. I don't agree with what he said in the video. But at the same
which
time,
is totally fine.
That's his preference, and I don't care about him.
Exactly.
And it doesn't affect me in what I think about myself.
But that's exactly it. That was the whole point where I was like, I genuinely like, get a fucking life, everyone. And like, everyone has different opinions about that video too.
Yeah.
I got so many different opinions, which to me is just proof that like, okay, this is all subjective. But what I was going to say was that account, it was like an acne account. Anyways, I saw that he had like posted.
Like, he reacted to it?
Yes.
Okay.
And like, people were tagging me in it. And this was like a year ago. And I like messaged Jess and I was like, oh my God, like, this is like what's happening. And she was like, I actually saw that video pop up for me. I didn't want to say anything either. And I was like, no, Jess, like, this is actually like, it's getting to the point now where I'm like, you people need to like fucking leave me alone. And I messaged him and I was like, hey, like, I'm really sorry to be doing this. Like, I'm not. And like, the video was fucking going viral.
Oh my God.
And I was like, and I'm not trying to disagree with you, trying to like be positive and like spread awareness about things, but like, I do just want to let you know that like, I shared that video like X amount of years ago. I took it down since. I was getting severely cyberbullied because of it. I'm no longer with this person, and it just really took a huge toll on my mental health. I know that like this video is like going viral, and you're trying to like, your message is very positive, but I'm just asking you, like, would it be possible to just like take this video down? And he got back to me and he's like, hey, I am so sorry to hear that you had to go through all of that. I actually really don't agree with all like the experience that you had. He's like, I genuinely do not agree with that. He goes, I'm happy to hear you're not with this person anymore. And he goes, mental health is always the most important thing. I'm taking this video down immediately. And he deleted all of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
And he even said, he's like, the fact that you took it down and people are still like, he's like, I didn't know that. I didn't know who you were. Yeah. Like, people were just like sending it to me. And he's like, the fact that you took it down, but like other people are still sharing it. Mm-hmm. He goes, like, for me personally, I didn't know like about this. And he's like, I didn't know that what you had to go through. But he was like, these people are just like fucking hypocrites.
Yeah.
Like, that, he was saying that.
Honestly, like, clearly there was some rage bait to it, because like, there's no reason why a video like that wouldn't go viral if it like wasn't a big deal. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's clearly things said that weren't great, but at the same time, it wasn't like sometimes I see when people are like get canceled for things, I'm like, oh my God, like, not that it like is justified, but I'm like, oh, I can like never imagine saying something like that online. But again, it's just that person's opinion. Yeah. You know, like, and what he said wasn't even as bad as like what, you know what I mean? So it's like,
I don't know, like, for me, like, I just don't get insulted about certain things, you know? Like, I'm just very much like,
maybe people are also like feeling bad for you because they're like, oh my God, that's such a toxic like way of thinking.
Maybe.
And like, I don't know.
But if they're feeling bad for me, then message
relationship.
me and like check in, as opposed to like leave hate.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't get it. Makes no sense. I also didn't know why I was getting involved. So I was like,
because you're just my sister, and especially because of like the whole body positivity thing, which, to be honest, I think body positivity, like that whole community, can be extremely toxic.
Oh, I actually said this on my story the other day, and another influencer messaged me who's like used to be in the body positivity movement, and then like lost a lot of weight recently, not on purpose. It was like she had postpartum depression and anxiety and like went through a really hard time. And she's like, it's hard to talk about because people get really mad at me. So I'm curious to see your response, because I literally said on my story, like, although I think body positivity can be an amazing thing, I also think it can be very toxic if you want to make a change to your body.
Yeah.
And I don't think that should be a toxic thing.
Yeah.
I think there are healthy ways to go about everything, and everybody should be like positive.
Everything is like so extreme, right? Like a lot of people could just be so extreme, and like, I don't know. It's just like, if you're so extreme to that point, then you're not healthy mentally.
Yeah. I was actually listening to a podcast recently where she went through an experience like in her real life that she like made a TikTok about, like a situation that happened. Okay. That she was like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. And she wanted to spread awareness, and it went viral, and people were literally telling her that like it was her fault because she didn't act appropriately. She didn't react in an appropriate way, and like, you should have done this and you should have done that. She's like, oh my God, what? Like, I did everything in my power to do this situation the right way, and it was so awful what the people were saying. She had to like take down the video. And she said that whole weekend she felt like it was her fault that something like this happened, and it wasn't her fault. It's just random people on the internet just saying things.
It's like pure gaslighting.
Yeah. So she like had to.
I don't agree with sharing your opinion on something someone said or did. Like, okay, granted, like, I sound like a huge hypocrite because here we are like talking about our own opinions and like,
yeah, no, everyone is allowed to have their opinion, but don't cyberbully though.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm not saying that's the whole thing. Like, it's one thing to have your own opinion, like, good, you should have your own opinion,
yeah,
good for you, but it's the way that you share that opinion, like cyberbullying. Let's cancel that.
Like, I can understand people commenting like, hey Kyla, like, I really think what that guy said is like really awful.
Yeah.
And I think it could be really hurtful to a lot of women, especially because your audience is mainly women. And like, maybe it's just something to think about, like, take it down or whatever. Like, I think that would go over way better than the like things that people were sending to you, death threats. Like, it's just awful. Like, people are just
insane.
Like, it was just so weird. And that was what, like,
but I also stand by, and this is not like, have your like, no one has to agree with everything. Like, if you saw that video, then like, I'm not saying you have to agree with me. My personal thing is like, it shouldn't be about like teaching people like what they should and shouldn't be posting on the internet. It should be about like, work on your own self-confidence.
Yes.
Teach your children about self-confidence. Like, you will never control what everyone's posting on the internet. That's never going to change. There's always going to be harmful things. So like, to even ask someone to take a video down, absolutely not.
Yeah. Do you think you would have taken it down if everyone messaged you in that way?
Saying what?
Just like in a nice way. Like, hey, I think this can be harmful. Like, maybe you should think about taking it down, or like maybe.
No, I would have kept it up.
Okay, so you only took it down because of the cyberbullying.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was getting like death threats.
Yeah, like that's.
I got scared.
But I mean,
but I wouldn't have kept it up just to be like to retaliate and be like, oh, like, fuck you people. For me, it's just more about like learn self-confidence. Like, it's a
really
real
hard,
thing. It's a
hard.
real fucking thing. And there's so many resources, and like, there's therapy, there's books, there's podcasts, there's all this shit. If someone posts something on the internet that you think it's really hurtful to hear, or like you really genuinely don't agree with what they're saying, as opposed to going out of your way to be like, oh, this person needs to take it down, maybe be like, why do I need this stranger to take down a fucking video so badly?
Well, I like never thought about it that way. It's true, like,
because then you're just projecting at that point. Like, you're externalizing your insecurities, which, and I'm not like being insensitive, you know, like, I have my own insecurities, like, I have my own struggles in life too, but like, that's pure projection. And like, if you genuinely feel hurt or disturbed by something you're hearing on the internet, take that as a sign to like work on whatever it is that's making you feel so like extreme, like to the point where like you need to ask someone to take a video down. Like, it's not healthy.
Do you think though a lot of it has to do with like society and the culture that we were raised in, and like the fact that women feel like they need to look a certain way to get valued by a man or by someone else? But that's not your job to like fix that for the society.
It's no one's job to fix it. You need to just like do things to feel better about yourself.
Like I listen to so many podcasts where people talk about like they'll say things that I literally don't agree with because like it stands against what I do, and like they talk about the fact they literally talk about like, oh my god, someone called me chubby, and like, oh my god, I'm so like, they like make a joke out of it, how they feel like so insulted by that. Like, what do you mean? Like, this is my good side. Like things like that I'm like, I don't agree with that, but I don't care. Like I'm not like, okay, they think different than me.
Also sometimes it's just entertainment. Like, get over it.
Like I'm not gonna go, like I'll go see like a review on a podcast. It's like, you guys are so like body shaming and like whatever, and like I love those people that I follow and then I listen to, and I'm like, I don't think that they're body shaming. But again, it's like everyone's perception is so different.
It's so different. I got so much hate, and then I also got so many people, the people who weren't hating, who were actually being very supportive.
Yeah,
they were like privately messaging me. And like I had many women message me saying that they were all the things that he was saying he didn't like, and they were like, it's not bad. They're like, we didn't take offense to it at all. So that's when I knew. I was like, okay, like it really is subjective.
And also, guys, I'm gonna be the first to say that like my body changed like crazy when I gave birth the first time, especially, and I was very in love with my body. But then this last time, when I also gained a ton of weight and went through postpartum, my husband was equally attracted to me in any body size. And like, he wasn't just saying that, like he was very much attracted to me. I was not attracted to myself. And there was nothing that he could have said or anyone could have said to make me feel confident in my skin, because I was just going through it. Mm-hmm. So people online, what they say, whether it's good or bad, you got to do the internal work. Yes, of course, it's good to follow people that are going to make you feel good and uplift you. Of course, you don't want to like watch someone that's going to make you feel shitty about yourself, but also do the work to know that like, this is something I need to work on. This is something that I need to focus my attention on, so that I'm not allowing random people that I don't even know affect me.
No, you would actually live like a much happier life. That's basically what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying you need to agree with me or like, you know, agree with what he was saying or agree with my decision to upload it. Like, you don't need to agree with me. Like, that's totally, I totally respect that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like, I just think it's pure projection when people get so insulted to the point where like it's like there's cyberbullying, death threats, like people are like saying like take the video down and like reaching out to my sis. It was like so insane.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, at this point it's like not even helpful.
There's people I love on the internet, and then there's people that have been canceled, and I love those people, and I'm like, well, I really hope they don't like believe what these random people are saying, because I hope they don't stop creating content, because I love them.
Yeah.
So knowing that there is like always,
think of like HRH Collection.
Who is that?
The girl that was like the stupid little rat in the back of the class.
Oh yeah, she's super out of pocket, but there's so many of her clips that I find fucking hilarious.
And like there's things that she says where it's like, don't disagree.
There's also things I really disagree with,
but
I also
really disagree with.
I'm not gonna go and like comment, like it doesn't do anything.
I know.
Like she wants that. Anything. She wants you to go comment. Rage baiting is literally so that you can go and have arguments in the comment section. Like that's literally what it is, and you're falling for it every time.
She does, I think, delete a lot of hate though.
Trisha Paytas always said the only time you will actually get canceled is if you cancel yourself.
Yeah.
My camera died, and then when I put in the new battery, I forgot to press record. So then we filmed the outro. And now we have to redo it.
But what were we saying?
I was saying that we just went in circles, so we're just going to end the podcast here. Welcome back to season 3. We're so excited. We do have a new structure for...
Yes. We do have a new structure. So we're going to be doing every 4th episode, we're going to have a guest.
Yep.
So it's like ranges from like our friends to professionals in any field to small business owners,
fellow creators. We want to like chat with people, interview them, get to know them, especially if you're like a small business and you want to get your name out there and you have a really cool story. Like I think that would be interesting as well.
Yeah. And also like if you guys have any, you know, recommendations of like anyone that you would like to see on our podcast, keep in mind we are in Montreal, so like can't just be like anyone,
but if
like,
there is
any
if there
Montreal
are people,
anything,
we can always go travel to them. Or they can
that
travel
would
to
be
us.
very fun.
Yeah,
an excuse to travel,
to go travel and interview people.
Okay, I'll save this for the next episode.
But we love you guys so much, and we will all talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.